Hello, this is Ronan, and this is an update to my assignment 2 homework. So I was unsatisfied with a few bugs on this and queen problems, so I decided to redesign my entire algorithm, and I believe this is deserving of another update to that previous video. So here is my driver class. We're going to get the dimensions from the user, initialize my board design, and then apply the solution finder. For the board design, most of this has to do with the drawings of the board. Setup has to do with essentially just the drawings, designing everything, and populating the board with blank spaces and so on. Draw will draw the board, which is pretty simple, dimensions, and the solution finder. So for the solution finder, previously I was calling algorithm and working off of that. Let me show you that. This is the previous algorithm where I used brute force in order to reverse engineering the output of every single valid possible combination of queens, which gave me this. And then I'll apply an if statement to where it would check to see if that square was a blank, and then insert a queen, and then check if and then apply a fill invalid locations in order to see, now that I've filled the invalid, do I have a valid solution from this point forward? And for the most part, it had the same issue where I was not checking every single square, because once the invalid filled in, I could not then attempt to fill a next position over to it. So I reworked all of that into what is now 67 through 84. So this is a better version of the previous algorithm. Instead, I noticed that while creating this monstrosity, I found that using the iterator, which iterated for each loop, the first outer, the second outer, the third outer, fourth, fifth, and sixth, this is equivalent to a base number. So if I'm looking for a 4x4, that is the same number of 255. 255 in base 10 is the same as 44444, actually 3333 in base 4, or for a 5x5, which would be 3125 in base 10, but in base 5 it is 44444. Once I realized that, I essentially rewrote all of this to converting base. So the entire previous algorithm is now down to one line. I take the dimension, I convert that dimension to using the parse int and toString to convert the base from the dimension of 4 to the dimension of 10. After that, I pad the number to make sure that I have enough numbers, so a value of 1 is going to give me the correct queen locations of 00001, and then I convert these strings into integers by first converting to chars and then converting the chars into ints. Then I send the position. So all of that is convert the number into a base 5 or base whatever that dimension it is, and send this to check valid, whether it's valid or not. Let me minimize this. Previously, I was using this fill invalid, which gave me the invalid locations for vertical, the left diagonal, and the right diagonal. I had to rewrite these checks to much simpler version, where this gives me the same vertical duplicates by checking is the current I equals to any future I. So where I goes from I to dimension, so it was 0 through 5, and J goes from wherever I was to dimension. So if I is 0, then J is 1 through 4 through 5. If I is 3, then J is 4 through 5. Always checking the future ones makes the code more efficient. If they're equal, therefore, if I have two queens underneath each other, automatically return false, move on. Same thing for the backwards diagonal and the front diagonal. If I, which is still at 0, is going to equal to where j is I plus 1, essentially is checking is one row down, a queen located one row or one column over. If true, false. Same thing for the backwards. If one row down and the queen is located one row down and one row over, or two rows down and two rows over, or and so on. Whatever how many down equally to however many over, return false and move on. So I have been running the, where is my solution, my console? I have been running the console for a 9x9 board, which is still running. I have a table that tells me a 9x9 should have 352 valid solutions. I've been running this for about 15 minutes. Without crashing, it is giving me every single possible solution. So here is the valid solution for the first board, starting from 0, where this solution is valid. And it's iterating through every single one. I'm going to go ahead and stop it at this point and run it again for a 7, or actually let's run it for a 6x6, which according to this should give me 4 valid solutions. And actually, before I run it, let me go ahead and draw the board. I minimized drawing the board to make the code run a little faster. No, thank you. And it's already done. So a 6x6, here is my first solution, 135024, 01350024, which is indeed a valid solution, and there are 4 valid solutions. That is all. Thank you very much.